All right, so in the last lesson, you learned about several statistics like the median and the mode and the range. Today, we're going to learn about the mean, which is another word for average. So, let's quickly look at the answers to the do now, so go ahead and turn to the next page, please. All right, just to review these answers, I think this one might be one of the trickier ones, actually, because you have to find the middle of an even set of numbers. So you need a number that is the middle of 3 and 5, and that's why the median is 4. No numbers repeat, so the mode is none. Notice in number 2, we have two sets of numbers each that repeat twice, so each one of those is considered to be a mode. And then for this last one, the 3's repeat the most, so that's why this is the mode. All right, let's take a quick look at the homework answers again. All right, this is a histogram, and it is symmetric because there really is no, significant tail on the left or the right. On this page, the key thing I wanted to remind people is that whenever you have a dot plot like this, to answer the statistics questions, you really need to separate what the actual data is. So this dot plot represents a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 2 5s, and 1 6. And then you can figure out your statistics based on these numbers. All right, so go ahead and turn to the next page. We're going to start talking about the mean. But first we're going to review these terms to make sure we have them down, because it's really important that you have the difference between what median and mode and range is. So please take these notes as I talk about them. So the median is the middle of the data set. And we find the median by ordering the data. And we generally order it from least to greatest. All right, squeeze that word in there. Now, mode is the value that repeats in a data set, and the mode is the value that repeats the most. So I'm going to add that. It repeats the most. And we find the mode of a data set by counting repeats, obviously. All right, and then finally, the range shows what we call the spread of the data. In other words, how far apart are the pieces of the data. And we find the range of the data set simply by subtracting the greatest number from, the least from the greatest. The least from the greatest. Another way to think of that is high minus low. All right, so here's a data set that I want you to find the median, the mode, and the range for real quickly. And remember, you have to first take this data and put it in order in order to do these three things. So take about a minute to pause the video and come up with these statistics, and come back and check your answers. All right, check out these answers and see if you can figure out where you went wrong, if you made a mistake. If you didn't, excellent. You can go on to the next page. All right, we're going to talk about the mean now. But first we're going to do a little exploration. And I want you to kind of figure out how we determine what the mean is when we have a set of data. So I want you to fill out the top 3 tables, and then we'll do the bottom one together. So for example, if you look at this first table, we have the data set consists of 5 and 5. So what's the middle of 5 and 5? Well, that's an easy one. That's 5. And I want you to add the data together and divide by 2. So in this case, we're going to add 5 and 5 and get 10, divide 10 by 2, and that's going to give us, of course, 5. And I'll do the next one as well. So the middle of 4 and 6. Again, I hope you can see that that's 5. I'm going to use this column to add the data, so we're going to have 4 plus 6 equals 10 divided by 2, so that answer is 5. And if you can do this in your head, that's fine. Just make sure we have the right number in that column. All right, so I want you to do this, and this table. So pause the video, fill those out, and then come back and we will talk some more. All right, check out these answers. Hopefully you noticed a pattern. So finding the middle might be a little tricky, but like between 3 and 7, if you were to put those on a number line, you would see that 5 is right in the middle of that. Easy to see the middle of 8 and 10 is 9, the middle of 7 and 11 is also 9. And when you add these and divide by 2, add these and divide by 2, you still get 9. Again, the middle number between these is 5. The middle number here is 5. The middle number here is 5. The middle number here is 5. Again, if you look at a number line, the middle number on a number line is going to be 5. And when you add these up and divide by 4, each time, you're going to get 5. All right, let's take a look at this last one. The middle number is 5. Middle number is 5. Here the middle number is 3. Here the middle number is 6. Again, not because it's the middle of this list, because on a number line it would be in the middle. And a 9 is the middle of this one. All right. But when you add these numbers up and divide by 3, notice you get the same number each time. All right. So hopefully you're seeing a pattern here that to find the middle number as it would be on a number of line, you're going to add up the data and divide by the number of numbers. So here for all of these, we divided by 3 because there are 3 numbers, and we get the middle one. Here we added them up and divided by 4, and that gives us the same middle number. Here we added up each number, each set of 2, we divided by 2, and we get the middle number. So that's great. You can see easily what the middle number is for these, but for this bottom one, it's a little bit different. So first of all, the middle of 5 and 6, well, it's not a whole number, it's not an integer, it's something between 5 and 6 if you look on a number line. So the middle number of 5 and 6 is actually 5.5. All right, I want you to think about that a little bit. Okay, the middle number of 4, 5, and 7, that's a tough one. There isn't really a clear middle number. It's not 4, 5, and 6, so on a number line, where would the middle be? You know, it's somewhere a little bit after 5, so we don't know the exact number. And the same thing here, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, it's hard to figure out where the actual middle number on a number line would be. So we're going to have to use the add the data and divide by the number of numbers to figure out what the actual middle is. So we're going to do that for this one. We're going to do 5 plus 6, and then we're going to divide by 2. Put this in parentheses, so we know to do that first. And of course, guess what that is? If you put that in a calculator, you're going to get 5.5. This one's a little bit trickier, so we have to add 4 plus 5 plus 7 and divide by 2. And you can use a calculator for that, but let's see, 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 7 is 16, divided by 2 is 8. So the middle number for this one, that's not right. What did I do wrong there? 9 plus 7 is 16. Let's see, hold on a second. All right, I see what I did wrong. We're dividing by 3, not by 2. Okay, I knew something wasn't quite right. All right, so that's 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 7 is 16, divided by 3. And that doesn't work out evenly, so you can use a calculator for that. And we're going to get 16 divided by 3. I'm using a calculator as we speak. And I get 5.33, and that's repeating. Okay, so that's what the middle is of these numbers. And then the last one, again, we're going to go 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 8. And we're going to divide by 4, because that's how many numbers there are. And 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 7 is 13, plus 8 is 21. And again, I'm going to bring out the calculator and do 21 divided by 4. And I'm going to get 5.25. Okay, the point being, for some sets of data, you can't automatically see what the middle number is like you can on these. For these, you actually have to do the algorithm we used up here, where we added the numbers and divided by the number of numbers. And you see we get these weird decimal answers, but that's okay. And again, this is the middle of the data on a number line. Not the middle of the list, but the actual middle on a number line. All right, well, guess what? This number that we're calling the middle, that's actually called the mean. So let's talk a little bit about that on the next page. So the mean is another measure of the center. The center of a data set. And yesterday we learned two other measures of center. One was the median, and one was the mode. So there are actually three measures of center that we talk about: mean, median, and mode. Another word for mean is average, and you probably have heard that before. When you find the average of a set of numbers, that's the same as finding the mean. And then, just like we learned on the last page, we calculate the mean by adding up all of the numbers and dividing by the number of numbers. Oops, number, not numbers. So let's take a look at a quick example. So the one thing nice about the mean is we don't have to put the data in order. We just have to add it together and divide by the number. So I need to add 6 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2. Okay, let's do that. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 5 is 17, plus 4 is 21, Plus 5 is 26, plus 3 is 29, plus 1 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So they add up to 32, and then we have to divide by the number of numbers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to divide by 8. That makes our mean for this data set equal to 4. All right, so I'm going to put a big mean equals. All right, so that's the main thing you need to know about mean, is you add up the numbers and then divide by the number of numbers, and you're going to get one measure of the middle of the data. And this is a pretty popular measure, right? This is how I figure out your grade. We take the average of all of your grades, and that's what we use to come up with your final grade. So it's an important concept for you. All right, let's do some practice with this. So go ahead and turn to the next page, please. All right, so here we have two different data sets. And what I would like you to do is pause the video and find the mean of each data set, which again means you're going to add these together and divide by the number of numbers. Add these together, divide by the number of numbers, and we're going to check out the answer. So go ahead and pause the video, figure out those two means, then come back and check how you did. All right, check out the answers. So you have these two data sets, and guess what? They have the same mean. So how is this possible? Because the numbers are different, right? You can see that they're different. So the whole key is, even though the numbers are different, their sum is the same, and it's the same number of numbers. So you can have any set of data, but if their sum is the same, and the number of data points is the same, you're going to have the same mean. So let's actually write here, how can this be? Well, the sum is the same. And the number of numbers is the same. All right, so in this last table, what I want you to do is come up with another set of data points similar to these that has the same mean, okay? Has a mean of 4. And thinking about what we said here, how that can be. So there's a lot of different answers for this, but see if you can come up with one set of answers that will work. So go ahead and pause the video and come up with a set of data points here that gives us a mean of 4. All right, here's what I came up with. 5, 5, 5, 2, and 3. And why does that work? Because 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17, plus 3 is 20. So for this data set, to find the mean, once again, if I add these up, I'm going to get 20 divided by 5 equals 4. So to know if you got the correct answer or not, you have to make sure that these numbers add up to 20. That's the key, to make sure it has the same mean. All right, go ahead to the next page to do some more practice. All right, for these problems, sometimes they just ask for the mean, and sometimes they ask for mean, median, mode, and range. So you need to do whatever it asks for. So go ahead and pause the video and do these problems and come back and see how you did. All right, check out these answers. I showed you what the sum and what to divide by for each one, so make sure you got the same answers, and if not, see if you can figure out where you went wrong. For each of these, of course, you had to put the numbers in order first, and that gave us the statistics for everything. And again, the mean, I showed you the total and what I divided by to get that each time. And the only tricky one maybe was the median for this one, because we don't have a middle number, so we had to have the middle of 6 and 7, and the middle of that is 6.5. All right, so let me know if you have any questions on mean, median, mode, or range. You can start the homework if you want, but there's an extra card today, so that should be coming pretty soon.